Right now, I work with children that have a diagnosis of autism. So I work with their families in coordinating their therapy services and other resources that the family would like to engage in. My experience within the mental health field, I was a care coordinator for school-based mental health services. So there, as well as experience working with domestic violence victims, a lot of those women, even their children, dealt with mental health illnesses. So I would say that pretty much sums it there.
So in your experience, you would say the most common emotional pain would be what?
I don't feel like there are like common causes of it. I think that like anything can cause someone to have like an effect on their psyche, but trauma is just like a traumatic event that has an effect on your psyche, and I feel like that can be anything to anyone. Something small to me could be something very big to someone and affect them in a total different way than it would affect me.
What would be an example of that?
So, someone being raised, like I was raised in a single parent home. And so like the effect of just having my mother and not my father, that personally didn't have too much of a negative effect on my psyche, but I might, and I have had friends that have grown up in the same home and have possibly maybe witnessed a little bit more interaction between their parents, or just taken in a whole different way of not having a parent in the home, where to me, I was okay. I kind of lean more on it, just really comes to the person and how they deal with it.
So what tends to determine how a person copes?
Dang, I don't know. What might determine how you might cope with the situation? I think it could be maybe how big the situation is to you, on like how big it is for you to get over something, or to be able to not remember or focus on a situation, but you can either cope in a positive way or a negative way. Mainly positive, addressing it, hitting the problem head on. To me, like if you have to talk to a professional, doing that, or if you have certain things or certain, outlets that you can do that kind of keep your mind off of it, but it's in a positive manner, compared to someone responding in a negative way, suppressing it, whether it's, the drug use or alcohol abuse, or just engaging in negative things that really don't have an uptake on you or your life. Don't really know what could determine which way you go, but it really determines like your self-worth, like how much you are aware of your self-worth and how much you really want to work on yourself and do better at it. But it could also be a spectrum. Like I've dealt with things negatively at first, understood that it was a negative way of how I was dealing with it, and then practice more positive ways of coping with something.
What would you say is the hardest part for a person to actually resolve their trauma or their pain?
The hardest part,
or the most challenging aspect of it for people?
I would say for people seeking help, the most challenging thing is having to repeat your story to so many people. When you think of therapy, you think of, or even just going to any mental health counseling, you think of like, I'm gonna have this group of people, or I'm gonna have this person, I'm gonna build up to trust them, and hopefully I can get to a point where I can talk about it. And then it's like you kind of put yourself in a mindset like, I'm only gonna have this one person, and this person is not gonna leave, because it's hard to have to retell your story over and over again. So instead of me getting to a point where I can find a way to positively cope with it, I have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So I just keep reliving the moment instead of working towards trying to manage myself in it.
Yeah. You find people that like want to sit in the emotion or feel like I deserve to be mad sad or regardless of how destructive this emotion is for me, I deserve to be it because this happened to me or because somebody did this to me.
Exactly that. The second part there of someone feeling like I'm about to sit here and like kind of chill in this emotion, but I sum it up as someone being avoidant of it. As much as you feel like you need to be in here and you have a right to be upset and you have a reason to behave and act and do the way you have been, it's because you're not addressing it and you're not getting to the root of the issue and truly saying what is making you upset. You are continuing to blame your actions on a past event instead of I wouldn't say getting over something, but being able to cope with something, being able to manage your life with this being a part of your life now. Those who feel like, let me sit in here and I have a right and I'm going to continue to bring up my hurt, are those people who don't want to address their hurt, truly address it. Seen both.
Sorry to cut you off. What's the most terrifying thing that people say when it comes to like addressing or confronting their story or their pain or their situation?
Like what would be a reason of why they wouldn't?
Yeah, like what brings that fear up to you? Like calling them not to know.
Because of just how it might affect other aspects of their lives. Say if you were someone who was hurt by someone who was close. So addressing that changes that relationship between people, which could possibly change relationships with other people connected to it. So that could be a reason. Or trying to keep face of certain things. I have a certain, look I have to present. I got a certain quota I have to maintain. So no, I can't address certain topics because it would go against what I stand for or who I am today. So, yeah, I would keep that there on that one.
What challenge do you think people face in being like vulnerable or just like completely transparent, whether it's the positive sides of them or the negative sides?
Can you repeat that question?
Like, what challenge do you think people face in just being completely like authentic? A lot of times when people start talking about themselves, we just want to make them the best parts of us. Like, for instance, I'll take me for instance. When I meet girls now, like, if, we're gonna, like, before, in the past I would meet women and I would just, just keep it social and all that. Mm-hmm. But now it's like if I'm entertaining you, even if I only know you for a short amount of time, I'm gonna ask you some very deep questions. And I'm also just reveal the negative sides of myself immediately as opposed to just spending months getting to know me, pretending to be some way, and then a year later you find out, a demon of mine, and it just throws a whole monkey wrench in everything as opposed to just from the get-go, like, look, this is my demon.
This is who I am.
Yeah, this is what I've been through, and there's no positive or negative to it. It is what it is.
The challenge in people being transparent. I think in how you explained it, that is someone being very secure of themselves. So I can tell you the negative pieces of me and tell you, the skeletons in my closet because I am secure in who I am right now. So things like that in the past have no effect on me because I am secure in who I am, compared to someone that's challenging being vulnerable in that aspect because I'm not secure in who I am. And what if you use those things to hurt me? Because those things still do hurt me. And I feel like those who are more transparent about it, what I'm telling you can't hurt me no more. Like, I've dealt with it, I'm cool with it. It is what it is, and today is today. But those who kind of build up those walls, that still has an effect on me, and if it happens again, it'll hurt me again, and not wanting to deal with that and not wanting to relive those moments again. So I'm gonna avoid it, I'm gonna shut it down, and I'm gonna build up this wall color me black, you can't see through type.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's super cold out here. So,
trying to look relaxed.
I had a good question. Okay, it escapes me at the moment. So we'll go back to the, this is what it was. What do you think it is about people, particularly in the black community, that it seems like we are so attached to the things that re-traumatize us?
I'm conditioned to think that there's no way out. So something that I can't get out of, ain't no point in me walking away from it. Also conditioned to feel like, be tough. So it doesn't matter that it hurts me, it doesn't matter that I really don't enjoy it, but my mindset is to be strong and endure it. So to what I think I'm enduring, but you know, you're kind of just punishing yourself in the long run of it. But taught to either be prideful about it, be strong about it, take it. You might not like it, but take it, or it's based me on what I said before, but those two.
I was talking to a friend about that. I was like, we can only do things based on our mental, I call it a mental Rolodex of experience. Rolodex back in the day, I had all the members in it, like, we do that for experiences. So anytime I'm experiencing anything, I just flip through all the experiences I've ever had in my life.
Right.
And to see if it's similar to anything that I've experienced. And you can only do what's in there, like, and it don't gotta be stuff that you've experienced firsthand. It can be stuff that you read, stuff that you've seen on TV, stuff that you've seen other people go through. But it's like, to your point, if I only grew up in a dysfunctional household, but then I come across somebody that talks to me in a loving way, it's like,
oh, that throws me off. I don't know
how to even communicate with that person, because I have, like, when I'm frustrated, I just raise my voice, slam something, or so I'm flipping through and I have no experience of somebody just putting their hand on me and saying, are you really okay, or what's really going on, or just giving affection in a completely different way. So it's like, how do you feel, what do you think is the best way for people to gain those experiences for their mental Rolodex who don't necessarily have it in their environment or didn't experience it growing up?
I always just tell people, like, just be open to it. You might not have experienced it. You might have no one in your corner who can give you examples of it. But if you can remain open-minded to allowing someone to just feed you something new, there's the experience right there. And you can create those experiences just from being open, and I'm allowing someone else to teach me something that I may have not seen, or I don't have a trusted person to tell me something, but I'm allowed this stranger or whoever to come and, like, feed me something new. You just got to be open to it.
Okay. Let me ask, do you feel that we are in control of our thoughts?
I think, thank you. Thank you very much. Ooh. Huh. I would say being in control of my thoughts. Am I even in control of that? I'd like to think I am. I'd like to control how much focus I. Can I control what sneaks in there? Per se, no. Don't think so, but I will say that I can have the ability to control how much I'm gonna put attention to it. Yeah. How much focus and energy I'm about to give something. I have that control. Which could dim the light and maybe say that I have control on what comes in my head, but nah, because I mean, you're gonna have those thoughts. It's a natural thing to have certain thoughts. Like a person, I think it's unrealistic. Even the happiest person has a sad day.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you would know what it is to be happy if you've never had sad days, type of thing. So possible. It's possible.
Okay, so how would you translate that? Well, let me step back. Do you feel that our thoughts create our emotions? Do you feel a person can be mad without having a thought to provoke being mad? Like being mad about something? Or can a person just be mad and just have no...
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna, that's the spirit, but you know, I really do feel like people just have this emotion about them because either they've never experienced other emotions and that could be it. Like I've just never experienced happiness. I've never experienced true sadness. I've only been pissed off before in my life. So this is the emotion that I kind of keep with me when I move and do stuff. Like I think it's in that way of thinking of it that this emotion can be this person because you've never experienced per se other emotions truly, in a sense.
Like, do you feel our body indicates, for the most part, like what emotion we're in?
Yeah. Certain people have a way of being able to control body language and kind of present themselves in a certain way that on the interior it's not that at all. Those people are very, I don't know, it could be good or bad how those people are. Truly, when you're thinking of just like kind of the mental health field, like if someone can control themselves that good outwardly, but it's something going on the inside that's concerning. But even with people trying to control, to persuade themselves a certain way, if someone's studying you enough, they can see that, you know, it's a facade and like that's not, you're feeling away or you're trying to kill an emotion or trying to hold something in type of thing. But I feel
that, like, people, not cut you off, sorry.
No, you're fine.
You know, like, do you feel that people who are sad, not just like a particular person, but like if it was a curtain here and it was just like we could only see the silhouette of the person behind it, and like if they were sad or depressed, do you think we could distinguish their body language between that and a person who felt like happy or powerful or brave?
Always, I used to mentor for a group of girls in middle school, but I always discuss with them it's all about your head level. And how you hold your head can say a lot about how you are feeling about yourself. Even someone who's trying to play it off like, I'm not sad, I'm in control. If my shoulders aren't up and they slap out, if my body language is bringing it that way, that's still portraying off a certain emotion. But I always say it starts off with your head level. And the rest of your body kind of flows with that. But you can definitely tell the differences between someone who is confident in themselves, how they sit, how they hold themselves, how they, you know, just look and talk to people compared to someone who's
Either
having a mindset to check yourself. Like I check myself all the time when I can, like how you said, like just sitting in a certain way. I can feel my eyebrows get in a certain manner and I'm like, I've been sitting this way too long. Let me check myself because if I don't, somebody's gonna come across and get the wrong image. Or I'm also not opposed to telling somebody else, fix yourself. Like I would tell my friends, hey, fix your face. Tell kids, hey, fix your face, you know. Be aware of it. And it could be something that it's really not even on your mindset, but somehow, some way your emotions are affected and now your body language is showing us that you're kind of feeling and thinking of something else. And you can, like how it's subconsciously, like I'm not even aware that I'm thinking of something that is affecting me negatively. So sometimes I just need to check. Okay, you're right, let me shake that off. Let me get back to it. That's the deal. But no, I check myself all the time.
Have you heard of scream therapy?
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about laugh therapy. So.
How you feel about laughing?
I don't know. I'm gonna just say my disclaimer is I feel therapy is uncomfortable, period. So that is how I feel about scream therapy as well as laugh therapy. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just different.
It's different. It's different. But I per se, I enjoy move therapy. Like turning on a song of a certain like tempo or something and just moving to it and seeing how the thoughts that come across and things like that. But I don't know. But what's crazy is when you, I think it's uncomfortable screaming or laughing, but it's like I've done those things. Like I've been in a situation that's so like emotionally overload to where it's like, like that's the only thing that I can do is, you know, kind of scream it out. But I guess that's in my personal space. But doing it with someone telling me to do so, or being in a group setting and doing it, definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Definitely uncomfortable. And I've done group therapy before, and I'm like, we had to pray. We didn't do scream, but we definitely did laugh, and that was
different.
Ha 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 ha. It was just this is cool, but nah.
Have you ever heard of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming?
No.
You haven't? Would you be open for a quick experiment?
Okay.
All right, so neuro-linguistic programming basically talks about the structure of experience. So a lot of times, as you know, when you go to therapy, it's a lot of content. So just talk to me about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Neuro-linguistic programming is, we don't necessarily need to know anything that happened. I just need to know how you're structuring it. And then once we know how you're structuring it, we can tweak the structure, and then the feeling automatically goes away. It's like patterns on a CD. You know how like a CD runs off the patterns, but if you scratch it, you can't get the song to play anymore? Same thing within our mind. We all structure things in a certain way, and if you can manipulate it a certain type of way, we can't even get to the feeling no more.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do this through an experience. So don't tell me about an experience, but think about an experience that you haven't been able to fully get over.
All right, bet.
Let me know once it's in your mind.
It's there.
All right. Now, are you seeing something or do you hear something?
I see.
Okay, I know it's in your mind. I know it's imaginary, but point to where it's at. Okay. How close is it to you? Pretty close. How big is it?
Full size.
Pretty big. Now, is it color or is it black or white?
It's in color.
Okay, so what I want you to do is, in your mind, take the image and turn it upside down. Still looking at the same thing, but it's just upside down. Now what I want you to do is take it and make it black and white. So it's upside down and it's black and white.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do is make it smaller. So have it start to get smaller, and then as it's getting smaller, have it just go further and further in the background and in the distance. So it's just almost just going. Now let me ask you.
Okay.
Would you eat a live bucket of crickets for $30,000?
Fuck no.
You ain't going?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
All right. So when you rethink about this experience, do you feel any differently?
Whoa. You talking about the crickets?
No, we think about the one experience that we thought about before.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the difference in your feelings?
From just this experience or just like period?
Just the experience.
Okay.
So just a second ago when you thought about it, when I told you to imagine it to just now.
Right, and then it threw me off. Dang, it's almost, it was just a thought. Can I put up my eyes or am I still? Okay. But no, it's just a thought, but it was almost like, dang, did I sign up for the wrong type of exercise? I don't think I want to even imagine, I don't think. Maybe I thought of it too seriously. I should have thought of my dog dying or something, but yeah.
But when you rethink of it, do you feel any differently?
It's not heavy. Yeah.
Now, isn't that kind of freaky?
No, I was about to say that was weird. I was like, wait, what?
No idea what it was.
Okay, but no, I feel. Yeah, that's tight.
It's strictly about how you structure it, and if you tweak the structure, then the feelings just goes with it. The feelings are nothing more than responses or interpretations to the images and sounds in our mind.
Right.
So how we're interpreting it will determine how we're actually feeling. You tweak that joint, the feeling goes away. So
I
now we
enjoy.
can do one with sound.
Okay.
So think of like somebody who said something to you and it just made you couldn't get it out of your head and it just made you feel some type of way.
It's there.
You already thinking about
Uh-huh.
it? All right, so now, have you seen the movie Shrek?
Yes.
All right, do you remember the gingerbread cookie? Do you know the Muffin Man?
Right.
So now I want you to imagine that same person saying it to you, but just in the gingerbread voice.
Boy. Yeah, it's like an ant to a giant. Like, what? Get on out of yeah, okay. Dang.
And I teach this to kids all the time, especially when they're bullied, because it's like they just got a voice that's in their head that
Right.
makes them feel bad because of the tone that they're using in their mind. So just switching it to just Pinocchio or, oh, you little kid, like just...
That's really clever. That's really clever.
And for one in which we have our own voice in our head that beats us up. Like, are you hard on yourself sometimes? Like, you just be in your head just like...
I used to be. But now that I've done all this self-reflection and all these therapies and just, just addressing my issues.
Feeling pretty good.
No, I feel pretty, you know what I mean? Like, whatever I've done, I did it for a reason. And, it was validated. And I feel validated in my emotion and in my action. So I'm cool. Yeah. I don't feel no qualm.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
A lot of times, what I have people do is, like a friend of mine who, she always beats herself up, like, not physically, of course, but just talking bad about herself. And so I tell her to think of like the sexiest voice she can imagine. Like just the most sensual, sexiest voice. And then she can still tell herself the same things, but just make sure the tone is always that sexy voice anytime she's talking negative to herself.
What's that, but what's that guy who comes on at midnight?
I'm not sure.
Dang, it's an indie radio station, but dang, I can't remember that man's name, but that would sound foolish. Yes, that's the voice. I don't know, midnight something, but that is the voice.
That's that voice.
And again, I'm looking at him like I would look at the gingerbread man. Boy, got eager type of thing. But, okay, so you can't do this exercise right now, but when you get time, take out 3 pieces of paper, number them 1, 2, and 3. On the first paper, draw yourself in that moment. So it could be what you see about yourself, what you're thinking, whatever. I don't even want to give too much detail, just draw yourself in that moment. On the second, draw your biggest problem. On the third, draw what it would be like if that problem was fixed.
You do it in picture form.
Do it in picture form. And then after you do 1, 2, and 3, you have drawn yourself now, your problem, what it would look like if it was fixed. Discuss the similarities between what it would look like if it was fixed and you right now. And what is your biggest problem and you right now. And then look at it from 1, 2, and 3.
That sounds like an interesting exercise.
Yeah.
I will actually start that tonight. Now my draw game is trash.
Oh no, mine, because I've tried it, I was about to say I don't like to share anything that I've never done or whatever, but it really is, I like to do different exercises that reflect on myself, how I see myself, how I move, what I think, like that affects other people. And if I can have that in check, how I affect and what my footprints are in this world could be positive a little bit more, which could create some more positivity somewhere else. So just some self-reflection starts with you before you can push out.
I appreciate that. Do you have anything else that you want to leave with people? Any advice, any bits of wisdom? Or...
I always say, don't knock it until you try it. And
within reason.
True, within reason. Positive experiences are being reinforced here. But don't listen to the hype. And personally, for African American families, for specifically my own family, mental health is not something that we discuss. Crazy, oh, you're a social worker, oh, you know, you've worked in this field, you're, you know, pursuing or whatever continuously in that field, but this is your background. I have very, you know, close family members that deal with mental health. Do not allow what society says you should be to seek help by any means.
Do you have like resources that people can go to as far as like websites or people reach out to?
I could flash some business cards real quick, but I would say the easiest thing, honestly, in this area, 211 is a really big resource bank. I think it's 211 for help or something, but 211 is literally, you call them and you kind of just discuss what you want, a resource, and they will link you to the. Would I express certain names of like different community mental health facilities? No, because you have to, it's your own experience, I would say. And I would say don't go off the hype of what you might hear about a certain agency or a certain company, organization, because it's about the individual that is connected to you. Yeah, some have, you know, some heavy holds with, you know, the business aspect of things, but always go with your own outlook, get information for yourself. You know, it's always nice to kind of, you know, be aware of certain things, but when it comes to making changes that are positive in your life, try it and just try. Yeah, just try. But 211 is a big resource. There's also a crisis line. I can't, it's in my phone, but St. Vincent's Crisis Center, that's really big help. And they also kind of accept a lot of insurances because that's a big thing when it comes to seeking help. Insurance, coverage of these things.
Is that you, like, the insurance can cover what, like up to like 80
sure.
or something like that, or 100% of it all?
After a deductible type of bill, you know, but then when you, okay, well, you have like Medicaid or some type of insurance like that, unfortunately, if I'm not paying for something, do I really care about it, in a sense? There are some that definitely, okay, I got this, I don't pay for nothing, so I'm going to take advantage of this service and I'm going to, you know, get all what I can get from it compared to, yeah, so that's a hit and miss with that one, but it can be word of mouth or just honestly talking to someone. That could be the first step, talking to someone and expressing to someone that you trust. This is, you don't even have to express what you're going through, but this is what I'm thinking and I kind of want to, you know, get another opinion about it. Or, hey, do you know where I could go for X, Y, and Z?
Are there people you listen to on YouTube that you would recommend to people, or?
A lot of people that I listen to are faith-based. But ethically, I could not, you know, I don't want to push that on everyone, but find something good in the world and kind of like emphasize that and explore it. Find something good that shines within yourself and kind of highlight that and praise that little piece. And then once you notice something so small or just one thing, you'd be surprised like how it starts, you know, fire into everything else. So I would start off just being open with someone that you know will listen.
All right. Well, I appreciate your wisdom.
Thank you.
I wouldn't know your social media handle about that. You don't do something?
I really don't even have, no. Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I just have Facebook and Snap 24 coverage, but.
Snap 24 coverage, is that the name?
No, I'll call Snapchat only 24 coverage, yeah. Only 24 coverage, but no, I got spaced out from the social media, you dig. So I just like to involve myself in that way, like, someone asks or something, or like, oh, I hear something, just involving my being in it. Try to do it that way. Word of mouth is crazy.
It is.
Yeah, so I mean, if you show your face in a place, you'd be surprised.
Show your face in a place.
Mm-hmm.